Joy Violet, how are you doing? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We've had to improvise because our mixer has decided, well, get somebody else to do it. So you are on the thank you, Owino underscore Owino. You're saying you are. Yes, I'm very audible now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sawa. So today, this is the In All Honesty podcast on TBC Radio Show coming to you live every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. with yours truly, Olave Orawo. And today we were talking about poly versus side piece. Are we normalizing cheating? And this is from Thank You to For Seven Crochets. And this is from the Hanna Benta story where she came on and she said how she dates married men. And also it's 90% is the women's fault because women are just not taking care of themselves. And therefore men have to go out and look for that exciting factor out there. And so I guess it is our fault. So we've talked about a couple of things in the first hour of the show. And I hope the audio is manageable because for the people who will need, I think I'll give this episode for a discounted price because the audio is not giving at all. But yeah, just before we get into the second part of the show, that is our episode, we usually have confessions, and that is also what we discuss. That is what we go off as the discussion progresses in the podcast part of the episode. And before we start, I'm going to do a mention for our sponsors by Olave, okay? The In All Honesty podcast on TBC Radio is brought to you by Olave. If you are dreaming of starting your own podcast, by Olave offers expert podcast consults to help you set up, grow your show within no time. Also, by Olave provides emotional intelligence coaching to sharpen your self-awareness and equip you with tools to manage your relationships, both at work and at home. And get mental health support from highly qualified and certified psychology and adjacent specialists who come highly recommended by Olave. Find everything you need to thrive at byolave.com. The link is actually in my bio, and that is also where you will get the podcast episodes that have been that we've had before. If you miss a podcast episode, you can always find it on byolave.com, and it only goes for 75 Kenyan shillings, and that is how you get to support the podcast. That is how we keep running. So today we are talking about poly versus being a side piece, and have we normalized cheating? Because it seems like cheating is such an easy thing to do, and in Kenya we just talk about it as if, again, it's just another day in town. I beg. Are you the first to have ever been in a relationship? So anyways, here we have a confession. And our first confession says, ended my 25-year-old friendship. I don't know whether this is due to cheating, but let's go. Higher. So this hit me right in the feels. I had this friend for 25 years. She was unfaithful to every partner, started relationships with her closest friends' exes, loved nothing more than to have everyone admiring how talented or beautiful she was. I believe she is deeply insecure and feels the need to prove her value to others in order to feel valued. She has had at least 2 men travel from other states to visit her, only for her to leave them at her parents' house because she'd already lost interest. And moved on to a new guy. She'll insinuate herself into others' life problems as a savior until she gets bored about 3 weeks later. Then the person is unceremoniously dumped and gossiped over hot coals. I don't regret our many years of friendship, but I am very glad I have nothing to do with that whole social circle anymore. I feel nothing but sympathy that someone can feel so poorly about themselves. So this is true. It is actually, I think that we've mentioned it in the first hour. If you keep chasing unavailable people, and when people seem interested in you, then you drop them and go about your life, then there's something to unpack there. And as you can see, this friend here clocked that their friend has a very, what did she say? I feel nothing but sympathy that someone can feel so poorly about themselves. That's it. It's indicative of how you feel about yourself. Don't you ever feel like you also want something that belongs to you? Or why do you also want attention so much that you're willing to do anything and everything to just get attention from people, and you want to feel admired and loved? That is a self-esteem issue. It genuinely is a self-esteem issue. And as the friend has noted here, that she was unfaithful to every partner and started relationships with her closest friends' exes. Now, I want to know your thoughts on being in relationships or dating exes of friends. Like your friend just broke up with someone and then you start dating them immediately, and that is your closest friend. I do not think, I have said before, I do not mind if someone dated my ex, if a friend of mine dated my ex. But then again, I know I'm coming from a point of, I've had very decent exes. I wouldn't really put a fault on them. I've had distant exes, and also sometimes I feel like there are situations where I feel like maybe you were not the person for your ex, but your friend was. How sure are we that my friend isn't the person for my man? And maybe life just brought him my way so that they could meet. I do not know. For me, I do not mind if my friends date my exes, but I don't think I would ever date a friend's ex. One, because I already know your dad. And for me, it's very difficult to picture that man in any other way. Like, I already know things about you that I shouldn't have known about you. Like, you are not attractive to me anymore. So I also do not get those people who date their exes. But I also understand, as this friend has said, it is probably a psychotic issue because you want to feel admired. You want to feel like people want me. And so you are willing to go to this extent to just get the attention and the admiration. And at the end of the day, it just boils down to what we have already talked about. We said, if you're chasing unavailable people, if you're dating someone who is unavailable, I beg, girlfriend, boyfriend, do we call our boys friends who are boys boyfriend? But yeah, go and unpack, go into therapy. We've said while people are saving for cars and houses, you save up for therapy. Just go into even one session, try and unpack and see where that is coming from. I'm actually watching Insecure at the moment. I can see elements of that with the different friends, and I want to see how it will go from there on. But yeah, I've just started it. And then there was also a response to the very same confession, which said, I find it really interesting when women who are extremely beautiful and can have whoever they want seem to do this over and over. It's almost like their self-esteem or value comes from proving that they can take somebody away from someone else, that they can be chosen above the other person. It's so cruel. These people need therapy. And I thought this was very accurate. I felt like this was extremely accurate because sometimes we've always thought that, oh, she's a beautiful woman. She can get anyone she wants. Why does she want people's people, right? And you do realize it's because maybe their beauty has always been the center of everything. And therefore, when someone does not show interest in them, they are sort of puzzled. And this is something that we have seen with men as well. There are men who, we were laughing about it. What episode was that when we were laughing when we were saying, if you want to chase away a man, just accept his advances very fast. If he comes to you and says, hey, Olave, I like you too. I came for the niggas. Tell them to come out. Give me a date, time and place. If you're very open to a man's advances, they sort of like, wait, why? So this is also very common with men, just always wanting the unavailable. You want the unavailable, you want to chase. And I think it is very common, and we've had this narrative, but we don't want to believe it. Once a man gets you, it just changes. The chemistry changes and they need something else to change. So if you're a man and you're the type of person who loses interest the minute things start to seem stable, you also need to go into therapy. It is not normal. It is not normal to chase things that are not available. So if you're just coming in, this is the In All Honesty podcast, and it comes to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. with yours truly, Olave Orawo. And today we were discussing poly versus side piece. Are we normalizing cheating as a country? As I don't know about other countries, but in Kenya, it seems like cheating is becoming very normal because Hanna Benta was on an entire podcast saying how she dates married men and it's women's fault that these married men are cheating. And I agreed with her to some extent because I believe that for as long as there is a woman somewhere who is willing to accept a bare minimum, there's a man somewhere who knows they can always get another woman. It doesn't matter what they do to their current partner, their legitimate wives. So I agree to that extent that for as long as women have always set standards, women are the ones who've always set standards. And I know you might feel like it's a lot to put on the woman's shoulder already with whatever we are doing. But at the end of the day, it's women who always set standards. And I think we've laughed about this before on the podcast, that the one time that when I got to a point where I was like, I don't like cooking. I hate cooking. I don't care. I'll look for money and I'll find a way to eat. I'll find a way to either hire a chef or take out. Like, I don't like to cook, right? And once that thing, I realized a lot of women got into the space where they just do not like to cook and they can come out and say it. It wasn't a taboo anymore to say you're a woman and you don't like cooking. From that point onwards, every man I met who wanted to be with me was a chef. All of a sudden, the men started to cook and they started to cook well. So I really, really do believe if the standard was starting somewhere, that's where men would have to match up to. But for as long as there's a woman who's willing to accept crumbs, then they will get crumbs. Then another woman will continue to be disrespected. Because even Hanna Benta in this particular podcast goes ahead to say that Her, she thinks she's being a girl's girl. So she says, if this man disrespects the wife, then I will leave. I get it. I really do get it that you're trying to watch out for the woman, but it's don't you think it's already enough disrespect that this man is out here with you? Because I don't even think some people understand, because this is how, you see how men process cheating. Like when a man is cheated on, in his head he thinks, now I'm gonna go out here and people are gonna think I'm less human because I've been cheated on. You see, men think about that. Women don't think about that. Women are just like, okay, he cheated, he doesn't love me. But do you ever think that this person, that cheating is actual disrespect? Because you have seen women who have come up, like if you've dated a man who's cheating, you've seen women who come up to you and they're like, now this one is talking and we can get his man if we want. It is so disrespectful. Like you are out here talking and your man is out there perambulating throughout the city. So cheating is honestly disrespectful. And as we've heard from our confession, people who just genuinely want people's people, go and unpack. And sometimes these people are very beautiful. You're just like, what is it that you don't have? What is it that you don't have? Miss _ Monari, you are laughing. May I want to hear your thoughts on this cheating issue, because we are wilding and we are wilding hard. Another, I don't know whether to call it confession. There's another sort of thing that we had here where someone said, I'm a side guy for 5 different playmates of mine. Playmates, that's what you call them. I'm a side guy for 5 different playmates of mine. We have a kink in common. We share and their husbands do not. 2 of their husbands know about me and have met me. We have an understanding. I'm not there to disrupt their family. To the contrary, I act as a relief valve and make sure their family is the first priority. Oh yeah, just tell me if I'm the one who's mad. Tell me if I'm the one who is not okay. Because the idea of genuinely even convincing yourself that I am mending families. The service I am offering is mending families because they are able to, what did he say? I act as a relief valve. So I am the one who offers relief with whatever stresses they're having in that arrangement. And it's actually interesting to see that this is a man who is a side piece, and 2 of the husbands, this is a side piece to 5 women. 2 of those women's husbands know about him, and they're just going about their life. So I don't know how these arrangements work, but I am perplexed. I am besides myself with this kind of, I don't know, have we just normalized cheating? So if you're just coming in, today we're talking about whether we've normalized cheating, especially as a country in Kenya, because it sort of is just normal. And even in the first hour of the show, we've talked about some things like how marriage has become so disrespected, and it sort of is, marriage doesn't hold the sacredness it used to hold, because people in marriages are actually doing the most. Well, Keith, you say, who your jama side piece ni benten? Okay. Sawa. Bentens do it for money. If they do it for money, I said I'm not talking about sex work. If it's sex work, it makes a lot of sense. But the fact that this person has managed to convince themselves that they're actually doing a favor to these people that they're cheating with. But I do not know if Bentens, yes, it could be a Benten, yes. And I don't know if Bentens do it for money or whatever. I hope you're doing it for money. Because if you just love someone who's unavailable for free, hey, I don't even know if you'll survive in this economy. With the way it's going, I don't know if you'll survive in this economy. Do better. But we were talking about, basically, I lost my trail of thought somewhere, but we were talking about poly versus side piece and whether cheating has been normalized, because we talk about cheating so casually, especially in Kenya. We just do not care. People in marriages do the most, and everyone is just comfortable with everyone, because in some situations you can see the partner in the marriage. There's a partner who knows that my person is cheating, that my person is seeing someone else. And I think you've even seen in these very affluent families where there's, they need to marry because of status. So then they marry according to social status. So these very rich families, you'll find there's a man and there's a wife who are together, yes? And then they do not care about each other. They sleep in separate rooms. They really do not care. They're just here for I guess it's a business contract. It's a business contract when you're in certain levels of wealth. So it's a business contract, and these people just do not care for each other, but they go ahead and sleep with whoever and anyone else. Like, I think it was it in Seinfeld, one of the sitcoms I was watching, where where the son found out that the father had been cheating on the mother. And he was so mad. He was just like, I need to tell my mother. Da, 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 da. So he goes and tells the mother. And the mother is like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You think I didn't know? I was so happy because I didn't have to deal with the stresses of this man. That other lady was the one dealing with everything. Me, this man would just send me money and that's it, because we married each other for him to provide. So he sends me my money. Me, I'm good. Whatever he does out there is none of my business. Me, I'm not even having sex with him. I'm not attracted to him. I don't care. And I too can see other men. So it's sort of an unspoken arrangement that just works. But then I'm also thinking, if that's the case, my goodness. But then I'm also thinking, if that's the case, then why... Okay, that phone has disoriented me. If that's the case, then what does marriage hold? What is left of marriage? Because there must be something to fight for, right? Marriage is just that. Like me, I said marriage, you need a new PR team. You need a new PR team to tell us why we need to get married. Because right now, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. People in marriage do not care about their marriage. And I think for me, the most upsetting part for all of this is that there are children involved. And therefore, if there's some instability that's caused in the family, it's going to affect these children. And while we are out here, we are out here working with, healing. We're trying to heal millennials. We're trying to heal Gen Z. Everyone who's grown up with some sort of trauma, we're trying to heal them. So I am really upset when people do not take into consideration these few things here and there that will make marriage a good place for children to grow up in. And then these children will be wounded. These children will grow up to also need healing. These children who are wounded will also hurt other people, because hurt people, right? So at the end of the day, I feel upset because there's children involved. But at the end of the day, there's things we've agreed on. One, chasing unavailable people is a sign of an unpacked issue. Go to therapy, go find out what that is. If you're chasing someone who's unavailable, I believe, because I don't know about you, I'd really want to know how you guys operate. But for me, whenever I approach someone and I learn they don't even need to be married. I just learn there's someone in the picture. There is someone in the picture, I'm out. I'm not, me out, I'm out. So I don't know about other people. Do you learn that someone is in a relationship, someone is married, and continue to pursue them? So maybe me, I'm healthy. As we've said, it is an issue that needs to be unpacked. Maybe me, I'm healthy. Joy Nagberry, karibu sana. It's 8:30. Ndio kuamka. Diana Wanjala. Hey, how are you doing? It's been a minute. Karibuni sana. If you're just joining, this is the In All Honesty podcast, coming to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. And this is on the TBC radio show. Someone asked, what is TBC? TBC is to be confirmed. We were supposed to find a name for this podcast, but who's we? Who's we? Have we found a name up until now? So we decided to go with TBC. If you want it to be confirmed, fine. If you want it to be continued, fine. Last week we had someone say Tanzania Broadcasting Channel. It is fine by me. We're not going to stress. The economy is already hard enough, okay? But today we were talking about cheating. Whether we've normalized cheating, and the topic is basically poly versus side piece. Are you a side piece or are you in a poly arrangement? Is your person really polygamous? And if they are, have they done it the correct way? Is your person really polyamorous? If they are, do their partners know that they are polyamorous? And now that they are polyamorous, even if those partners know, were they coerced into being polyamorous, or they genuinely are polyamorous? They understand what that is and they are here for it. Is your person a polyandrist? Polyandrist is women who have multiple husbands. It is very rare, but I would like to know if someone knows a woman who has multiple legitimate husbands, partners. These ones are known, and they coordinate. You see how in a polygamous home, the wives coordinate. Even I was reading things for Lapat. In traditional African, the first wife will bring fufu, the second wife will bring bitter leaves, the third wife will bring the goat meat. So they collaborate. It's a teamwork. So I'd like to know if there's a polyandrist, if you know a polyandrist. And McKenna Christine 8, you're saying, just came from listening to Hanna Benta's podcast. Guys, it's crazy. It is, isn't it? It genuinely is. Oh, so the podcast is hers. I didn't even know that. I thought she was the guest at the podcast. But People are out here. So this story came from, how we started even this topic is, this story came from Hanna Benta on a podcast saying men, she dates married men, and these men are cheating because 90% of the women are not doing what is required to be done. So it's your fault if a man has a wandering eye, okay? Olalkeith, you say, I'm also healthy like you, Olive. I don't compete with legally binding contracts. Immediate escape. Same. But even if it's not a legally binding contract, me, if I just get a whiff, that you have a girlfriend, imagine me, I'm going. It doesn't even have to be marriage. I don't think, and I would understand for you, Olal, maybe it has to be marriage for you to step aside. For a relationship, small girlfriend, boyfriend here, you can still chase, because men chase actually, and it is okay. A woman can change her mind. We can change our minds. You can look at Olal and be like, okay, this my man's is not giving, I can move. But for me, I'm thinking of moving. Like, I want to date both of you simultaneously. I'll break up with my man and then go date the new man. Yeah, because, guys, if you look at cheating, let's just look at cheating in its real sense. It's a lot of work. Why would you commit to that much work if it's not a problem that needs to be unpacked? Cheating is a lot of work, let alone the planning to meet this person without your partner knowing. Even you keeping it under wraps. It's such a lot of work. I'm just like, is it a must? Must you cheat? Must you cheat? It's so much work. And that is why we've also, from the confession that we've had, this girl, we can tell that it's an adrenaline thing. And when it comes to adrenaline and you're dealing with actual humans, I genuinely believe it's a psychotic. Okay, let's not call it psychotic. But I believe it's something to do with the mental. You really need to unpack. There's trauma somewhere. Something else that we also agreed on is a cheat will cheat, even if you are Jesus. If you want, you can be Aaron Pierre. If you want, you can be Rihanna and Beyonce. No one cares. If a cheat decides to cheat, they will cheat. And I'd also like to know your thoughts on, can someone who's cheated before recover? If you're a cheat, will you always be a cheat? May I know if that's a thing? So if, let's say, I'm dating someone right now and I find out they cheated on their partner, could it be they've reformed, or should I wait for them to cheat on me? Do cheaters change? Are there people who genuinely cheat one time and it's a mistake and they don't do it again? That's also interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Ebu, tell me if cheaters reform, if you think cheaters reform, or once a cheater, always a cheater. Should you just like watch out for people who've cheated before? Because it's a thing you need to unpack. Something else that we have also discussed is your legitimate partner knowing you are cheating doesn't mean they consent to a poly arrangement. Yes, when Scam Cardinali comes here and tells us, Nasi cheating kama wifey anajua, is still cheating. Ska, it is still cheating. Because I feel like some people, let's say in the situation of someone who's surrendered to this man, they could be, it could come out as financial abuse because, one, maybe this woman doesn't have options. Atoke hapa ende wapi? There are no options for her. So she's just going to stay here. And as we've seen in the case of Sophia and Bumpy, Sophia went out on Tinder to look for people that they can have a threesome with. When this girl doesn't want to have a threesome, she doesn't want to be a second wife or a first wife. She just wants to be the only wife. All of this she did to keep this man. So that is why I'm saying, even if someone comes to you and say, I am legitimately polyamorous, I'm legitimately polygamous, does their partner know? And if their partner knows, did the partner willingly consent to them being in a poly arrangement, or she was coerced since maybe she has less financial standing, or maybe she was in a space where she loves this person so much that she wasn't willing to lose them and therefore is willing to do anything. So you can see that maybe they're unhappy, but they're not willing to lose this person. So sometimes you need to look at that. But also, even if you're the partner who was coerced into this arrangement, please also understand that no one out here owes you empathy. If I am Hanna Benta and I find your husband and your husband says, we are polygamous, I'm polygamous, my wife knows, and you are hurting, I don't owe you any empathy. I don't know you, okay? So I'm only extending you this grace because maybe I'm empathetic. but I don't owe it to you. If I was another person, I wouldn't extend you the same. So also there's that. And it's Vivify_Winnie, you are saying it's like an addiction, same way you treat people addicted to alcohol or drugs. And that is why I'm saying it's something that needs to be unpacked. Because if you are genuinely, and I've said I'm not talking about sex workers, if you're dating someone who is already committed to someone else just for the thrill of it, you need to look into it. Because I believe healthy people will say something like, oh, you're still committed. Oh, you'll divorce her. Then when you've divorced her, I'll be right here. I'm not even planning to die. I'll be right here. You come back once the divorce is completed. But the idea of just sticking around and being like, oh, they said they leave their partner for me, so I know they will. They love me. They show me they love me. And sometimes you'll find a psychotic, you'll find a psychotic person who, when they finally leave their wives for you, you will understand. You will understand what that wife was going through. And I remember there's this one time when I was witnessing utter disrespect by a particular person that I knew, and they didn't divorce their wife, but they brought in what they called a second wife. It wasn't legitimate, it wasn't done in the proper way, but they brought in what was called a second wife. And I remember when I was talking to the first wife, the one who now has been brought a wife upon, she just said very casually, she said, it's okay. Wacha ajaribu tuone kama she can deal with the demons I was dealing with. And I was like, wow. And this was a marriage that looked so good on the outside. You would never have thought they had issues. So when she said, let's see if she thinks it's easy, she thinks it's a cruise, let's see if she can deal with the things I was dealing with. And we also later even came to learn that it was this first wife who literally was financing the household. Another topic for another day. So at the end of the day, also, just be very careful. I genuinely feel like if you find out that someone is in a committed relationship, step back. Just step back. It will save you a lot of anguish, a lot of here, there, a lot of, what is it called? Sometimes it's just, it's not predictable, it's uncertain, and you don't want uncertain grounds for yourself. Love yourself, because that's what we are basically preaching here. Love yourself. Even the girl in the confession who keeps chasing people, it's because she wants attention. There is this, she's beautiful, she's very beautiful, but she wants this to be validated by everyone. And it seems like if the only way I can prove that I am beautiful or still confirm to myself that I am beautiful is by people wanting me. So if my friends' boyfriends want me, that's basically it. So they're working very hard to always find someone who's not theirs, and that sort of validates them. And it's a very tricky situation to be in, because I promise you, the day that beauty will be compromised, you won't like it. You won't like it. Because I've had someone have a meltdown on me. Literally, I've had someone have a meltdown where they just were like, look at me. Am I ugly? Why would this man not want me? Am I ugly? And I didn't know what to do at that point, because the girl who was looking at me, asking me if she's ugly, is honestly Rihanna and Beyonce had a child. Beautiful. Utterly beautiful. So I was just like, yo, beautiful women are out here. They have unpacked baggage. So yo, check it. Olal Keith, you're saying, it's so difficult to go back to a cheater. Some learn, some don't. But catch me dead. I would never. I hear you, and I hear you loud and clear. And for me, I think when people ask, can you forgive cheating? I usually say I cannot give you a definite answer for yes or no. But I feel like I will lean towards I won't forgive it. Because even if I say, okay, fine, we're now on a good page, it's fine, you've reformed, I believe you, but it will be at the back of my mind every time. I will kiss you and think about you kissing that woman. When I'm having sex, I'll think of you having sex with that woman. It will be such mental torment to me. I don't think it will be worth it. So for me, I feel like I will walk away. And for people who forgive and cheating, honestly, get your flowers. Valentine's was the other day. I hope someone got you flowers, because cheating is not easy. And I understand that I think Olali also have the luxury of not having children. And I think cheating really makes it difficult because sometimes children are involved. And therefore, you're just there. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you this. If you can forgive it and move past it and mend the relationship so that both of you are happy, that is fine. But if you're going to continue in that relationship to think that you want to keep a two-parent household, but you're constantly unhappy, your children will know. Your children will know. You'll probably take it out on your children. Your children will be wounded by you staying in a marriage where you were not really happy just because you wanted to give your children a two-parent household. Kathy Liseche also says, I think if you cheat, you are ready to lose the relationship. Unashindwa utatoka aje, because no way someone will convince me the relationship you value there's no way someone will convince me the relationship you value and still cheat, knowing well the consequences of it. Yo. Okay, sawa. It is true. It's because I'm looking at it from a psychological point of view. When someone cheats, you know the relationship is going to end. And I genuinely believe people who cheat sometimes know. Sometimes know, hakuna kwenye huyo ataenda. Just sometimes people know you're not going anywhere. This one, I can go and sleep with whoever. They have no options. They won't go anywhere. So again, I do agree with you. Even if it's the situation of just knowing that your partner has no options, I guess it. But at the end of the day, yes, it's exactly what you're saying. You're willing to lose the relationship. Maybe you do not value that relationship. I believe people who value their relationships won't cheat. It doesn't matter how hard it gets. I genuinely believe they won't cheat. And I'm only operating from my point of view. I genuinely believe I cannot cheat unless that I'm willing to let it go. That relationship, I'm willing to let it go. And I also do not get how it's just me. I cannot for the life of me think of two people at the same time. I'm those people you need to pray for. I'm those people who, when I'm dating, this is the only person I can see. Like, I don't even have moments of like turning to see someone else. My focus, when I'm dating someone, my focus is on this person only. And it's not like I'm looking to them for everything, emotional support, It's just that I can't multitask. I'm a lazy girl. Cheating is work. I'm a lazy girl. I'll stay with one person. Thank you. Kathy, listen to you also say, to say it narrows down to your values, Olave. Yes, it does. And morality is very subjective. That is something that we've said with all the topics that we discuss. Morality is very subjective. And therefore, at the end of the day, when I sit here and say, I think dating married people is wrong, that's just me. Someone else has a completely different view on life. Someone else has been dealt different cards in life. So, because even the trauma doesn't come from nowhere. The trauma was built over something. The trauma doesn't come from nowhere. So at the end of the day, people have been dealt different cards in life. But I believe it gets to a point where we all decide, what do I want for myself at this point? Do I still want to sit here and play victim to what happened to me as a child? Because do you know the meme that says, when you keep saying I come from a poor background, I come from this type of background, it gets to an age where you are the background. You're the one who defines what background is. So I feel like for me right now, and even my age mates, we are the background. Because I'm saying that because my friends have children. So while you're still crying, I came from what background, you're creating a background for someone right now. There's someone who in a couple of years will say, I came from this type of background because of you. So it gets to a point where we have to decide that we, as the background, have to do better. So you can't also cry victim throughout. And I think we have an episode where we talked about victimhood. You can't be the victim 700 times. You can't be the victim for years over. You have to get to a point, my sister, where you love yourself a bit. Try a bit. And I think something else that we have really glamorized is self-love. Self-love is not easy. I'll tell you, as someone who has done the work to completely master self-love. Self-love is not easy. When you decide, I'm not going to date this person, sometimes you really like someone. You genuinely like that person. But you just can't be with them because they don't match your value system. And that takes work. It takes a lot of discipline, and it sucks. It sucks to do the right thing. It sucks to do the right thing for yourself. So also, when I say love yourself, I don't want to give you this glamorized look of loving yourself. It is hard. For you to go into therapy, or for you to decide to therapize, whichever way you decide to therapize, because I therapized myself for the first 3 years. Even if you decide to just introspect and see what it is you want to unpack, it's a lot of work. Let me tell you, facing your demons, coming to the realization, when you're unpacking, it's a lot. You will get to a point where you realize, wait, my father didn't even love me, and the way I thought he loved me so much. the things you have to deal with when unpacking, when mastering self-love is hard. And let no one lie to you that self-love is this. Yes, once you get to the other side, it's beautiful. But the work is a lot. So even just coming to terms, because even us ourselves, we're in denial a lot of times. Even just coming to terms and realizing, yo, I'm broken. Why do I keep attracting, or why do I keep chasing these unavailable people? It's really hard work. And Olal Keith, you're saying, I agree, cheating is a full-time job. I don't see how else it's not. It's a full-time job. Unataka kuniambia, you have kids at home who need help with homework. You're going to work probably an 8 to 5. You have a wife who, I don't know, what do people do with wives? Sorry, what do people do with wives? But I'm thinking, I am a single person without a child. And my day is occupied from 9 to 5. And after that, after hours, there's still things I'm doing alone. So do you know how much time you have to have squeezed everything in to have time to still cheat? And the mental capacity for it, with everything in my head, because me right now I'm thinking, I need to edit this podcast, I need to post it, I need to finish up the book, I need to post it, like there's so much in my head I need to do. I need to call up a friend, I need to follow up with something in the family. There's so much in my head. Where do you get the space to still organize Airbnb? Sijui Saturday, come at this time, I'm going to tell my wife this so that I will leave as a business travel. Hey, it's a full-time job. And us, we're lazy. Olal and I at least are lazy. The rest of you, I don't know. But let me just go through the points that we've had today. If you're just coming in, this is the In All Honesty podcast, coming to you on TBC Radio Show every Monday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And today we were discussing poly versus side piece, and have we normalized cheating? This is from the Hanna Benta story, where she said she dates married men and it's the women's fault that men are cheating. So that is where our entire conversation came from. And if you are just coming in, you've basically missed almost the entire show, but do not worry, this will be uploaded and you'll be able to find it by tomorrow on YouTube. On YouTube, you can subscribe to our membership package, which is right about 300 shillings a month. And also, if you just want the audio that you can listen to, download it very fast. It's only 75 Kenyan shillings on buyolive.com. So the link is in my bio. So do not worry, all the podcast episodes are there. Just head over there and you can grab what you have to grab. And Ating Lau, hey, it's been a minute. My goodness, I haven't seen you in so long. I went to campus with Ating Lau. I agree, it's a full-time job. Where do people squeeze in that time? That's what we're wondering. Us, we're just lazy. We are not ambitious. We are not ambitious and we don't have time to cheat. So basically, we were talking about cheating. Have we normalized cheating? And some of the things that we've come to. Let me just go through them. These are our, what are they called? These are our conclusions after the much we've had. This is our conclusion. Chasing unavailable people is a sign of unpacked trauma. It's an issue. Go and unpack it. A cheat will cheat. Even if you are Jesus, even if you're Aaron Pierre, a cheat will cheat, okay? It doesn't matter even if you want to wear that corset. If you want to walk with heels in the house and cook, it is okay. Doliat at 9. Okay, anyway, it's okay. A cheat will cheat on you, it doesn't matter. Your legitimate partner knowing you are cheating doesn't mean they consent to a poly arrangement. Maybe sometimes they just want to keep you and therefore they're willing to do anything to just stay in that relationship with you. Or sometimes they do not have the standing to do it. Maybe you are the one who's controlling the finances, therefore they cannot leave the relationship and will go with anything that you decide to do. Poly arrangements have rules and structure and everyone involved is privy and consents to it. So poly arrangements could be polyandry, could be polyamorous or polygamy. There is structure, there is rules on how these things operate. Polygamy, you will be introduced to the family like the first wife was introduced officially. The steps, you see the steps you go through when getting a wife. Those steps are gone through when getting a second and a third wife. So it's okay. We've already discussed it. You'll catch the episode, okay? And polygamy is legal and socially accepted, but there's terms of operation. That's what we're talking about. There's definitely terms of operation. Cheating is a control tactic sometimes, and men who cheat should be shamed as equally. So when you find like the way Hanna Benta came on and said, oh, I date married men, and there was a lot of pressure on her. But also, remember, we also need to shame the married men because they're the ones who made a vow to someone else and then still decided to come out here and do the most. And also, men will never do better for as long as they have options. And there I wrote, read a mumu girl. if for as long as we have stupid girls who will accept crumbs and nothing, for as long as we will have girls who will go to someone's house and be fed with tap water, and that is all, and then be ridden for hours, for as long as those girls exist, yeah, men will move as they want, because there's options. There's always, you see those clients that come to you and tell you, we know a cheaper guy. Yeah, there will always be a cheaper one. So that is where I agreed with Hanna Benta. That is where I was like, the struggles that we're facing right now could be because there are women who've refused to up their standards, because I know for a fact when women upgrade their standards, men upgrade their standards, because men are the ones who are chasing. And as I've said, men are chasing. Don't come to me with, oh, it's 21st century, it's 2025, even women can chase and approach. It's okay. But let us also agree that is ideal, but we've not gotten there yet. We're still at the space where gender roles are pretty much a thing. We're still in the space where men are still required to provide and women are still required to be homemakers. And we are confused. Let me say, as Kenya, we are still in a space where we don't know whether we are living the westernized life or the traditional African life. And what I'm seeing we're doing right now is we're picking and choosing when it's convenient. When you want to cheat, you say, I'm polygamous. When you want your wife to not cheat, you say, oh, we're supposed to be in one union. There should be no other partners from outside. So at the end of the day, we're also in that confused space. But yeah, that is the entire discussion at exactly 8:57 a.m. We had a few hiccups here and there. Don't yet, it's because you are not there maybe. Today you've joined late. And we've had, our mixer has failed. We had charged it, but it has decided it doesn't have charge. It will just sing to us the whole day that it doesn't have charge. So I'm still hoping I'll give you a major discount on this particular episode, because we've had sound issues here and there. But I'm hoping that the sound, you can manage what we had today. And it was a very good discussion. Man, I hope I can do it like with better audio later on. But yes, if you're just joining, we are coming to the end of the In All Honesty podcast on TBC Radio. Right here on Instagram Live. It comes to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. with yours truly, Olave Orawo. And do not worry if you missed our discussion today on poly versus side piece. Are we normalizing cheating? You can always find it from tomorrow onwards on buyolave.com. The link is in my bio, and you can get the episode for only 75 Kenyan shillings. That is how you get to support the podcast, and we can keep running. And also, if you just want the second half of the podcast, that is the podcast part of the show. We usually have it on all our streaming platforms. So you'll find the last hour of the show on Spotify, AfriPods, Amazon Music, wherever it is you listen your podcasts from, you will find it there. But that brings us to the end of our discussion today. Have we normalized cheating? Have you thought about your life? And do you think we've normalized cheating? And can we do better? Is it affecting our lives? I feel like we should do better, or we should change, because we are having children. We genuinely are having children, and that dysfunctionality, it's not cute, because even the struggles we're dealing with right now are from the things that our parents did. So let's try and do better. Olal Keith, you say, yes, cheaters need cheaters need that GOT treatment. What is GOT? I'm trying to make it out. That goat treatment. Anyway, cheaters need that GOT treatment. Walking the streets while we chant shame, shame. Oh, the Game of Thrones treatment. Okay. This concentration span. I should continue. I should finish sentences before starting to understand it. But yes, cheaters need the shame, shame, shame as you walk down the street naked and probably flogged with a nyahunyo. No, that should be reserved for abusers. For cheaters, just shame. Because I think even why you're working so hard to not get caught is because you are ashamed of what you're doing, aren't you? Aren't you ashamed? We do agree. With that, we've come to the end of our Game of Thrones. Oh, you're so fast in typing. Okay. Yes, I understand now. We've come to the end of our episode today. Catch you next Monday again from 7 to 9 a.m. If you are new here, set a reminder. I didn't put a reminder yesterday, but I will. Set a reminder, 7 to 9 a.m. on Instagram Live. We have our podcasts here. And this should be up on buyolave.com by tomorrow. The link is in my bio. If you ever want to get any of your podcasts, yes, you can get them there. But for now, please stay faithful. Do not cheat. Don't date married people. Stay safe. The economy is already hard enough. You can't do this to yourself, okay? But for now, bye. And thank you for joining. Until next Monday, have a lovely, lovely week.